Well, welcome, guys. It is a very special edition of Hashtags, midweek, really, and I'm so glad to have you join us. I'm not flying solo, right? So before I introduce my co-anchor to you, I am Vivian Oguche, and this is where we get to tell you all things topical, of course, all things trending as well. And today we are going to be taking a look at a number of things that are on the front burner at the moment. Like I said earlier on, I got my co-anchor here, Atiku. Hi, sir.
Good evening, Vivian, and good evening to our viewers. It's a good day to be here.
Yeah. Are you excited?
Very excited.
All right. And the good thing is we're going to be joined by a very special guest. His name is Cletus Ilo. He's worked with the UN as well as so many conflict resolution, organizations. So he's going to be doing justice to the topics today. He's also a public affairs commentator. In a short while, though, he's going to be jumping on the show with us. So this is what we're going to be talking about. It's just a rundown. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar just dumped a clincher. I can tell you that. Who knew he was going to do it? He said if a younger, widely accepted candidate steps up the plate, he's going to shelve his life ambition of becoming a president. That's a big deal. So that's one of the first things we're going to be talking about. Also, we'll talk about Peter Obi. So he was at the Trade Fair Complex demolition site not too long ago. I got videos for you, mouth-watering videos. I also got a report put together by a reporter, Matthew Ogunswada. So at the moment, this is the update to this particular matter. You do know that a demolition was carried out at the Trade Fair Complex some days ago. Right now, Obi condemned the modus operandi of the Lagos State government, and Lagos State government is firing their own salvo. So Obi and Lagos State government are trading words over the Trade Fair Complex demolition site. Also, we'll talk about conflict resolution in Nigeria at 65. And with that said, let's get this show on the road. If my guest comes in, we'll let you know. Ikechukwu, Atiku.
Well, I mean, it's clear. He said that...
But does this surprise you, what he just said?
No, it's not surprising. I mean, come 2015, the election that brought in the late PMB, he also was part of the founding fathers. They went for primaries, he lost, he supported PMB to become president. So if he's saying that if he loses the primaries, because that was he said, that if he loses primaries, then of course he's going to step down to, I mean, why he said it, I think a lot of persons are yet to understand why Atiku made that statement. Atiku is the oldest there. So saying that if he loses, definitely he's going to lose to a younger person. That's what it means.
I just think, basically, this is me thinking bluntly, that he's just making a way for Peter Obi.
Well,
that's what I'm thinking.
For him to
if I'm in Peter Obi's shoes right now, I'll be the most hopeful man on earth of becoming Nigeria's president.
True, you want to see it that way, but it's difficult to actually defeat an Atiku in primaries.
No, but he's saying that if the younger, widely accepted candidate emerges, he didn't say anything about the primaries or not.
No, he said he's going to contest the primaries.
Well, who knows? Who knows how it happened? Look, so if you lose the primary, you must shelve your ambition.
Which means you're going to support whoever emerges.
Absolutely, that's what it means.
But then, who's going to defeat Atiku in primaries? Atiku controls, about 60% of the ADC structure.
How do you know?
I mean, a lot of persons there are very much. Okay, for example.
You're not an insider in the ADC.
Well,
I don't know. You look, the thing about
everybody from the PDP that is part of the ADC now, a good number of them are Atiku's loyalists.
But you see, I think they went to a great deal to bring Peter Obi on board. And the day they were going to unveil the party, there was so much ado about introducing Peter Obi.
Yes.
Remember what Dino Mela said? And then you had former Kaduna State Governor, who also was a former FCT Governor, former Tinubu ally, El-Rufai, practically holding Obi's hand and paving the way for him. And that trended that day and all of that. So it looked like there was so much ado about Obi and all. So I'm thinking these guys might be up to something. There's something Atiku said. He said it's not about him becoming a president. It's not about his ambition, but it's about delivering Nigeria from, a chokehold. Basically, that's what he said.
That's synonymous to what Peter B also said, that it's not desperate to become president. He's desperate to see Nigeria work. The truth is this, for ego, politicians of this stature will always want to actually weigh the pros and the cons. The pros in this sense is that you know what, it's better for me to step aside instead of losing a primary. Now, if I'm going to lose a primary, now if Atiku loses a primary to a person of Buhari's stature, you know that, okay, yeah, they appears in the same league, so there's no much news around it. But then if he loses primaries to someone who people believe that he's bigger than in the political waters, then of course it's a lot of it's a lot to take in, right? So I think the only thing here is perhaps he's giving us a hint that he might not run, he might not contest the primary rather. But if he's contesting the primaries, I don't think he's going to lose.
Yeah, because once upon a time he said he's the king of primaries.
Yeah, come on.
But the thing is, we are going to come back to this Atiku matter. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar saying he's going to shelve his lifetime ambition for a younger, widely accepted candidate if that person emerges. I mean, if he says stuff like that, who comes to your mind? We'll come back to this matter when my guest comes on board. But I'd like for us to take a look at a report put together by my colleague Matthew Gunswada, chronicling, Okay, it looks like we'll take a short break. When we come back, the show continues.
Uye Osarete is my name. I am a friend of the microphone. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios. Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I'll be like, well, this TV station will go places.
In Nin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Ovisha Nelson One, your #1 celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone. It's still hashtags, your one-stop stop for all things topical, all things trending. I was going to show you a package put together by my colleague Matthew Guswada, but that should be in a short while because my guest, very special one, Cletus Ilo, just joined us. Like I said earlier on, he is a public affairs commentator, and he's worked with lots of organizations, including the UN, far and wide. And it's such a pleasure to have you join us today, Cletus. You're welcome aboard.
Yeah, good evening, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank
Indeed,
you.
Voice of the People TV.
Thank you so much.
The voice of the people, as he said in Africa, is the voice of the gods. And when we listen to the gods, I think we'll do better for our country and for ourselves. Once again, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for bringing me on board. I'm pleased to be here as well.
I like you already. I can tell you that. So let's begin with the first hashtag. Like I said, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says that he's going to shelve his lifetime ambition if a younger, widely accepted candidate emerges. What do you think? Is he speaking in riddles, or do you think he really means what he's saying? Is this him paving a way for Peter Obi? Let me not put words in your mouth. What do you make of this?
Cletus lives in Adamawa State, Yola. I'm speaking from Yola, Jimeta precise, where the former Vice President, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar lives, and where he builds and where he's known. For me, if that statement comes from him, and I do believe he meant what he said, it is a statement of courage, a statement of being a father to the nation, and a statement of selflessness and dedication to nation building. This is because for every nation to rise, individuals that seize the future should and could share their ambition for the collective good of the country. And that, for me, is a statement of honor, and it's a statement that Nigerians should adequately treasure, coming from a man who has so aspired to become the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, telling Nigerians that if a widely accepted candidate emerges, he will share his ambition. For me, I respect him, and I believe Nigerians will also do that. Hearing that from our father, the former Vice President of Nigeria, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Thank you.
What he said, this statement, because a lot of persons still believes that, he's actually just making this statement for everyone to come on board, knowing that it's difficult, looking at the people in the ADC at this point, it's difficult for anyone to actually, outmuscle him in the primaries. Do you share that sentiment?
Now, let me say this. The man we are talking in question, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is a strong political figure, dating back from his days in the social democratic movement that was headed by His Excellency, late Major General Yaradua. He's a prominent political figure. But if he came out to say that, it is not a statement made out of compulsion. He was not compelled to do that. He is talking from the place of wisdom, and he had talked from the place of love for Nigeria, the unity, progress, and development of Nigeria. Remember, the statement is with a caveat. If a younger, widely accepted candidate comes out, he will share. Now, the question is, he will not share his ambition if the younger candidate that emerges is not widely accepted. 2, he will not share his ambition if the person that emerges is older than him and also widely accepted. 3, he will not share his ambition if the person is younger, but not as widely accepted as himself. So, the benchmark here and the measure of who is widely accepted is himself, depending on how the person is accepted across the geopolitical zone of the country, the South-South, Southeast, Southwest, North Central, Northwest, and Northeast. You may be widely accepted in 3 geopolitical zones and not be accepted in 3, or accepted in 4 and not be accepted in 2. Does that connote, or does that have the capability of giving that candidate the presidency? If that is not, he probably will not share his ambition. So let's analyze this from the context of probability. Now, he said, if a younger, widely accepted candidate, underline, there are 2 or 3 variables or indicators there. The person must be younger. 1, the person must be widely accepted. Widely accepted here, we must look at the demography that is accepting this candidate that is young. Is it the elderly? Is it the political juggernauts or the youth? So all of these things, or all of these variables or indicators, need to be further analyzed to ensure that the acceptable wider candidate that he is looking for emerges. And so, for us to know whether he really meant what he said, we need to further interrogate him to demystify the indicators that form that statement. The younger, wider accepted candidate, we need to actually further interrogate him to understand who and what makes up this classification and clarification that he has given. This is my view about this.
I think there's a 4th variable that you didn't look at. You mentioned 3 variables. Now let's look at the 4th variable. The 4th variable being that, is it saying this that he's not? Is it saying this meaning he's not going to be part of the primaries, or is saying it that regardless, even if at the end of the day he loses?
I don't know if Cletus is the right person to ask this question. I don't know if you want to answer that.
For discourse.
Okay.
It's actually bringing it for discourse.
It's probability. He's talking about probability. So
yeah. So I am not speaking for His Excellency, former Vice President His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, but I'm speaking based on analysis of probability.
Yes.
For him to make that statement, he is of the opinion that a candidate that must emerge must be more accepted than himself. So for us to know that, we must measure that candidate with his last nationally declared electoral votes.
Okay.
Will the candidate be able to pull almost equal or more than that?
Okay.
If the candidate is not able to pull that, that means the candidate is not widely accepted. That's one factor. Secondly, if the candidate is able to pull it, The candidate needs to be accepted widely, not in one geopolitical area. It is possible the candidate can get that vote from one area. And if you get it from one area, does that depict that you are accepted? So we need to further carry out a poll to understand where and how this candidate will be accepted.
Okay.
So we need to define the benchmarks.
All right.
We need to adequately prove, maybe we need to further interrogate him to tell us more so that from now onwards, we start to search for the candidate that will be widely accepted in his own definition of acceptance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cletus. Very well said. There's something you said earlier on, when you started talking, that if His Excellency actually said it, he said it. He was interviewed by the BBC Hausa service, and he said it. This is what he said. So this is not just smoke without fire. He actually said it. Now, my question to you now is, because you said he's speaking from a place of wisdom, do you think then that the ADC is set to take over from the PDP as the main opposition party in Nigeria?
Yeah, for me, ADC has the ingredients to take over Nigeria, but that will be on one condition. The condition of everyone shelving his or her ambition to support a candidate that has the national clout to pull the plug. And such candidates, for us to get such candidates within the ranks of ADC, ADC themselves, they also know. They know within their ranks that among us, as of today, 1 or 2 persons are more accepted within the country. And so, if we are desirous of getting power, if we are desirous of changing the narrative, let's queue behind this individual and go for the election. Just like there were many of them queued behind His Excellency, late President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015, supported him widely, and they pulled the plug and defeated PDP. ADC has that clout, but if all of them fail to share their ambition, APC will continue to 2031. So what is important for us as Nigerians is for us to appeal to their conscience, for everyone to share his or ambition and support a widely accepted candidate within their ranks if they find any. This is my submission.
Very well said. Before Ikechu comes on board, I'm going to put you on the spot. Feel free to say no, right? If you're not ready, just feel free to say no. Yeah, but what do you make of an Atiku OB ticket? That's one. Also, which one is most likely? An Atiku OB ticket, an OB Tambuwal ticket, or an OB El Rufai ticket? Now you can say yes or no. You can answer or you can.
The matter is this: an Atiku OB candidate will not win the election for 2 obvious reasons. They have tried that before in 2019. Did they win? The answer is no. But until Obi came out as an individual, Obi became a clout. Obi became a figure. Obi himself is an opposition to APC. So if you must talk about opposition in Nigeria, the number 1 opposition figure is His Excellency Governor Peter Obi. The next opposition is Showore. But the main opposition that has the support of Nigerians from the length and breadth of Nigeria today, as it is both nationally and locally, is His Excellency Governor Peter Obi, former Governor Peter Obi.
Okay.
So any ticket that you want to present today, and Obi is a vice, the followership of Obi will leave Obi behind and not follow him, because in their followership, Obi is a candidate in C that should be the flag bearer and not a support. Given the fact that vice presidents in Nigeria do not have the requisite power to make any meaningful change, and that the followers of His Excellency, former Governor Peter Obi, will not allow or will not accept. And even the ADC also know today that the clout that they have, if they queue behind them, they will make results. And I give few examples and I'll submit. This is 26 years of Nigerian democracy. It is on record that only Peter Obi won Lagos State from an unknown political party, Labour Party. PDP in their heydays, never, even with a Southwest man being in charge, they never won Lagos. But an unknown Peter Obi, as it were, won Lagos and won it landslide. He won Abuja and a few states. So that's very key. And remember, if you bring in Peter Obi, all you need to do is to increase his publicity in the north, which he has also done since the last election. His acceptance in the north has increased, unlike the way it was before 2023. So if he stands alone, he has a better chance to ruffle the presidency with the present president. And let me say this and I submit. Of all the opposition figures in Nigeria, how many of them do you see social media influencers attacking like Peter Obi? In Africa, it is always said that a shining light is what and where insects attack. No insects attack a light that is not shining, a bulb that is not shining. No insect will go near that. So it is only a bulb that is glowing that insects attack in an attempt to quench it. So today, I am not speaking for ADC, I'm not speaking for anyone, but looking at the political trajectory in Nigeria, Peter Obi seems to be one of those major political figures that is widely accepted as it is today. Thank you.
That's very illuminating. Ikechukwu, before you come in, right? So you said something earlier on that Peter Obi is number one opposition figure, Shuwara number two opposition figure. But this is my question to you, right? So if eventually, or if Peter Obi emerges as the candidate for the ADC, who would you like to see him paired up with?
In what?
If Peter Obi emerges as the flag bearer of the ADC in the general elections in 2027,
yes,
who would you like to see him paired up with as his running mate?
Depending on who is championing, but a Peter Obi and His Excellency, former Governor Nasiru El-Rufai, will be a strong leadership. This is my view. Why? A Peter Obi will be very good in international relations, policy formulation, and international diplomacy. Why Nasiru El-Rufai will be very, very good in implementing policies, ensuring administrative straightforwardness and compliances to due processes, which he has done over the years. And again, the outcome of it, if it happens to come, is that it will bring some level of discipline, bring some level of decorum, and some level of focus in the general administration of Nigeria. This is my view.
Illuminating. Let me tell you, let me just give you a secret. While you were talking about former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, Ikechukwu's eyes just went like this. But you have one more question to ask before we go on. Before we go on to the next hashtag.
Well, I'm not even asking about Nasir El-Rufai. First, let me just to put this out before I ask my question. Former President Goodluck Jonathan also won Lagos in 2011 and Abuja en route to becoming president of Nigeria. And also, my question here is this: should Atiku, win the candidacy of the ADC, and Obi decides to share his ambition, do you think he's going to defeat the incumbent president Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
The answer is no.
Wow.
The reason is this.
Okay.
The reason is this. With an Atiku coming on board, the winning of APC is so straightforward for several reasons.
Okay.
One, the apathy on the part of the youth will increase.
Wow.
And the youth forms the biggest population. So those that will go and fight for change will not be there. Now, let me quickly remind you and myself. The 2023 election was election that the youth came out to vote because they trusted the judgment of the INEC where INEC told everyone that it will be free, fair, and credible election. And you will agree with me that during the election, the youths were also making jingles, dancing, singing with P2B because they voted believing that INEC would do the right thing. That betrayal from the INEC, where suddenly presidential election suffered glitch, was a betrayal. And the youth has taken note of that. Secondly, the way His Excellency, former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, handled that crisis is also good for him. He was able to stem the agitation and never allow the youth to go on rampage. That's another plus. And the followership is increasing, even in areas where he did not get it. But when he chooses to become a vice, that followership, those membership will drop and they will not support him. So it will be easy for the APC to win landslide in Southeast, South, and Southwest, and just get a few states in the North, and they will be declared winner. Yeah. But if a P2B emerges, the base of APC, which is Southwest and Southeast, will be shaken because P2B will get his 5 states from the Southeast, and P2B will divide South. And P2B will have also an inroad in Lagos State as he did. He might probably not win it this time, but it will have minimum of 25%, and in other states as well. And they will come to the North and fight for supremacy. This is the calculation. And anything outside this calculation will definitely affect the opposition from winning the election. For several reasons, again, issues around the South-North dichotomy and South-North.
Are you there, Cletus? We seem to have lost connection with Cletus, but we are just going to do everything in our power to ensure we bring him back. Because
people will not follow him because of that political disturbance, political unsettling that he's trying to bring because of the North-South arrangement. So in the interim,
we seem to be having poor connection with Cletus, and it's not surprising because he's joining us all the way from Yola. But we're going to keep at it because he said some very important things. Very important. He talked about the role of INEC, right, in electioneering, but in 2023, and he also did some very serious calculation. If the late singer was here now, the one that did a collab with Tubaba, he'll call it Sound Sultan. He'll call it Bodmas. I'm telling you. Yeah, but this is the question I'd like to ask Cletus if he comes back. So, if Peter Obi runs for the ADC, I'm saying if, because it's a big if. If he runs for the ADC and former President Goodluck Jonathan runs for the PDP, what's going to happen? Is it going to be a stalemate? Yeah, because we saw a PDP chieftain, Jerry Gana, come on board not too long ago to say emphatically that former President Goodluck Jonathan is going to run in 2027, and then he added that he was going to be in Aso Villa. He sounded so sure. Like he had it all.
Let me pretend like I have a crystal ball. I can actually see what Cletus will say. Yeah. Basically, it's going to say that, come on, the only thing that is going to actually take out the APC is a united opposition. Anything short of it is going to actually give the APC. Which is why I would have loved to ask him this question. Yes. Because we saw that Peter Obi and former President Goodluck Jonathan had a closed-door meeting not too long ago. And then there have been talks about the former president running and all, even though he's not said anything. So if eventually he runs, it's going to split the votes of the South. If it definitely comes up, he's going to be the undisputed prince of the South. And if it comes up, come on, that's it's game over. It's going to really be a big dent. So I would love to hear Cletus's opinion as regards this. But as we try to bring him back on board, why don't we move on to the next hashtag now, which is hashtag. Oh, Cletus! I've never been so glad to see someone. I'm glad you're back. So this is a question I asked. Yes, please go ahead.
His Excellency, former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, very good, noble human being. But let me say this. Those pushing him or advising him to go and run are not doing him any favor. This is my view. I love him. He's one of my mentors that I follow from afar. Those pushing him are not doing him any good favor, because when he comes on board, and it comes up on ADC of PDP, the problem will be the APC will come up with several corruption charges. One. Two, does he have the followership of the youth? That is a question that we need to ask ourselves. There are certain things that P2B has done that has made the youth to be endeared to him. One of such is go and verify. People have gone to verify and they've not been able to bring out facts that will dent his political image. That's a standing characteristic, a standing feature that P2B has been selling with. How much of that boldness will the former president, His Excellency, Ebele Jonathan, say? That's one. Two, if a P2B comes on board and Goodluck Jonathan comes on board, the Southeast will definitely go with P2B. But I can beat my chest today that the whole of South will not go for His Excellency, President Goodluck. And that's a negative report. And then his own home state, Bayelsa, does not have the requisite muscle to pull a plug. If it were to be River State, it's understandable, but it's not. And again, when we talk about this, look at the demography. In every state you go to, let us not forget about ethnic and tribal affiliation. The Igbos, outside indigenous people of any state, the Igbos have a very big percentage of that population. And that also is a wider acceptance of anybody in the place of P2B if he comes on board. So for me, His Excellency, former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, remaining as an elder statesman and international figure politically, will do him better and keep his image and integrity intact than to come and be rubbished by these political pushers who are pushing him or advising to run.
Okay.
As far as saying 10 years after, it's not like the way it was 2015. 10 years ago. And so many things have gone, in a wrong path. But let me submit. He did well in his time, but he was not the only person. The stars that helped him, they've moved on. The likes of the World Trade Organization president,
Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
The likes of African Development Bank, Dr. Adesina, and a whole set of other professionals that were with him that brought the best of policies, including P2B was in that cabinet doing things from behind the scene. So most of them have grown in leap and quantum that can also, they built their name and clout. The question is, will they be willing to subsume their clout under him? The answer seems to be no. And again, the strength is not as much in him as it was some years back. Okay. So age is something that we need to look at. Thank you.
Cleto is very well said, but before I let this go, right, because I need to, we've got 2 more hashtags to discuss. Before I let this go, there's something you said that the Southeast would definitely vote P2B. Some days ago, a video trended where David Umahi came out to say that, this is his words, that the Southeast is no longer obedient, that in 2027, the Southeast is going to vote President Tinubu. We've also had Professor Soludo say the same thing. Do you see the South going obedient?
Let me make this thing clear to you. I am an Okwani man. By extension, Okwani is more or less, let me say Okwani is, in most cases, we are considered as the Igbo Deltans. Yes. Politicians will make categorical statements, but politicians cannot control the wills of the people. As of today, after the likes of late His Excellency President Nnamdi Azikiwe, late Chief Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, the next political figure in the Southeast that have emerged to this chief is His Excellency, former governor of Anambra State, P2B. Most of the statements you heard are out of political promise to appease their political leaders. Yes, anybody is free to make statements. Of course, these statements were also made in 2023. What was the outcome? This is what you need to know. I'm not campaigning for His Excellency P2B. No, please understand this. But if you follow keenly what has happened, the way his popularity has grown since 2023, you will know that No person in Nigeria today has that opposition figure as he is. Let me submit. Go and verify.
That's a nice way to wrap it up on that particular hashtag. Let's move on now to the next one. So, I was going to say President Peter Obi. Oh my gosh! No, so this is what I was going to say. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023, Peter Obi, and the Lagos State government are trading words over the demolition of the Trade Fair complex right here in Lagos. This happened a short while ago. Just for context, Cletus, I'm going to play a video for you put together by my colleague Marcio Gunswada, chronicling the event, the demolition actually so far. And then when we come back, we will play a number of videos from YouTube, how Peter Obi is reacting to what's happened, and then we'll have you have your say on this. So let's take a look at Matthew's report.
Here at the Trade Fair Market in Ojo, the Lagos State government has begun demolishing illegal structures, saying that the move is to restore public safety and security. And as you can see, traders are recounting their loss and the impact on their livelihoods. According to the Senior Special Assistant to the Lagos State Governor on New Media, Jibril Gawat, the demolition is targeting illegal buildings erected on road setbacks and drainage channels. But here at the Trade Fair complex, where no fewer than 19 buildings have already been demolished, the exercise has sparked outrage among traders, many of whom claim they were not given prior notice.
They just came yesterday and demolished many shops, this is people resources. Mostly Igbo people resources, and they were demolished. Even the market, not only here, go inside the market, you see many blocks as demolished, and this is thoroughly not acceptable. It's not good. We are one Nigeria. We said that we are one Nigeria. This center, is it one Nigeria?
It's very sad because we were never informed about this. We never see this coming. But I'm sure if you had told us about this, we don't even know the reason they were not behind this, brother. So we're still trying to find my drugs upon workplace.
I people their parents, I pay, personal parts in Lagos State. When I schooled here, we always say could imagine and all that. When the issue happened, I was actually upstairs with about 3 foreigners. That's the first time they're going to have the 18 degree on this project. Trying to do JD, it was in one of our projects here. About 10 feet of this, that basically something there. And there are section for plate for T-Brain, mall, to be small and all that. But when it happened, for the sellers Camry, for their light, what is it called? Tiagasis everywhere and all that. So we just secured our social field like it's a pop.
Before they come for demolition, they normally write all these things, but they didn't write. They didn't all along, but they just came yesterday and write and started demolition. So this is how we saw it, no notification.
Meanwhile, in some section of the Trade Fair market, buildings remain untouched. Traders there are pleading with the government not to extend the demolition, even as the market leadership prepares to meet with the Lagos State officials next Tuesday.
Where they are destroyed this thing, they leave almost some building. They leave some buildings, some plaza. Then jump about 2 plaza like this one and that bank in the front there, then drop it. Then I fed this one and this one. Even the front, the other side, then jump some many plazas where they destroy it. So I don't know why. So maybe they need a settlement. Ali, that settlement, they could have come and tell us. So look at what they are planning to do. Then from there, everybody will thinking what to do.
They should leave Igbo people alone. They should leave us alone. Imagine sweating. You're not paying us. I'm a youth. I just graduated from Uniben, nothing. No internship, no nothing. We are applying, they're not giving us. I'm here, I'm helping my mom. So they should leave us alone. We are trying to make ends meet. Picking little things, trying to make money. And you are demolishing it. It's not fair.
While the government insists this operation is about safety and order, many traders at the Trade Fair market say the few caught in the middle and are left with uncertainty about their future. We will continue to monitor these developments closely, providing you with further updates. Reporting from the Trade Fair Market in Ojo, Lagos, Matthew Ogunswada for Voice of the People Television.
Nicely done, Matthew. Now, Peter Obi is saying the whole thing smacks of insensitivity. That is the height of a lack of compassion. I've got a couple of videos from X, really, trending videos. Take a look, and when we come back, Cletus will have a say.
All of you are not abiding. Hardworking people trying to do your business. We cannot be talking about foreign investors. We're local investors are not protected. We can only bring foreign investors if local investor is protected. One of the houses they destroyed ever. The man's partner with the no chance to find investors at his office.
With the Abaribe and the Victor men and so many other senators. Ever will see no time. I do. Bounty. How you see him? Amazing. Okay.
So we are going back, because we have done our fact finding, we have found out everything we need to find. It is to now bring the Trade Fair Complex management, the Lagos State government, and any other stakeholder so that they will sit on a table and then this matter will be resolved. What we can all beg you and ask you is please, let there be no violence. Let there be no trouble.
All right. There you go. That's the picture. So you see, after the demolition, Senator Enyinaya Avarive, as well as Peter Obi, and of course Victor Ume. Victor Ume is the one with the
Viva Roads was there.
Yeah, Viva Roads was there. Victor Ume is the one with the red cap and all of that. They came to commiserate with the traders, and Peter Obi was saying that, look, if you do stuff like this, there's no way you're going to attract foreign investors and all. But if you take a look at the bigger part of it, the video, he also said, like I said earlier on, it smacks of insensitivity. Now, Cletus, what do you make of this whole saga? Because Lagos State government has come out today to condemn Peter Obi's comments, saying that they had the right to do what they did. It was all because of safety and the welfare of Lagosians. What's your take?
She wishes to do as a state government. The Lagos State government has the right to protect lives and property, and also to expand safety and security of people within the confines of Lagos State. But it must be done within the ambits of law, humanity, and respect for national unity. I am not in Lagos. I'm not speaking for Igbos or Lagos State government. But my question to Lagos State government is, where was Lagos State government when those buildings started? Who approved it? Who allowed them to build up to the point of using it before demolition? I'm not speaking for P2B and Igbos, but that statement that if you continue to demolish, how would you encourage investments is a very welcome statement in Nigeria. That also stems from the fact that if, as at the time the buildings were coming up, the state government had stopped them and directed them to the right place to build, the resources, or the investments that have been made in those particular area would not have become a loss, because as it is now, it is a colossal loss to the individuals, to the investors, and even to Lagos State government, because revenues will not be generated anymore from the businesses that were hitherto occupying those places. So in my view, and you also heard them submit, do not go into violence. You heard them rightly. when they say do not go into violence, go and discuss and find an amicable solution. That's one of the ways to go. And that also exemplifies the kind of personality and personnel that P2B represents. So it's important for me and any government, not just Lagos State, to understand that investments don't come by if the environment is hostile. We must, as a matter of fact, as Nigeria, whether Lagos or anywhere else in the country, promote the atmosphere of peaceful environment and reception to investors so that investments can dwell. I stayed in Adamawa State last week, to be precise. The major markets in Adamawa State were under lock and key because the government decided to destroy all illegal structures, all attachment to the main market buildings for 1 week. And they did that successfully. People were pained, but they needed to bring sanity, safety, and befitting environment to the market. Similarly, here in Adamawa State, there is a place called Shopping. Shopping is more or less the computer village of Yola, or Jimeta, or Adamawa State to be precise. But the place was not sanitized. It was not properly built. The governor issued notice, gave them a long time for them to vacate because he needed to put structures that would be more befitting. What did he do? And when the notice expired, he came with his bulldozer to demolish his place. As we speak today, state-of-the-art buildings that befit a good market environment is rising there. In my view, as I submit, I also use this opportunity to call on our dear brothers from the Southeast. When you want to invest in areas that have been earmarked as regions for building markets. And do not just build on waterways, roadsides, as it were. Do your building and investments, build your building and investment in government-approved areas, and your investments will not be destroyed. You have that peaceful environment to do your business over time. I do not support government destroying properties anyhow. Such, in same vein, I do not also support citizens building on the right-of-ways, waterways, and obstructing environmental progress. There must be a consensus. There must be a meeting point for government policies and investment to meet in such a way that at the end of the day, there will be statewide development, revenue generation, and progress on every side. Thank you.
Very well said, Cletus. I'm going to set up a part 2 with you. I would have loved for us to talk about Nigeria at 65, but we need to wrap this up right now. So if we have you again, and I'm hoping that soon, if we call on you, you say yes. I'm going to ask you to talk about conflict. I'm going to have you actually talk about conflict resolution, which is your forte, right? So when that happens, we'll have you talk about Nigeria at 65 and how well the country has fared when it comes to conflict resolution. But you have been absolutely fantastic, and it has been our pleasure to have you jump on hashtags with us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure always. This is our country. We have no other country than Nigeria. And it is our duty, it's our responsibility, it's our commitment to build Nigeria. America was built by Americans. Europe was built by Europeans. Korea was built by Koreans. Indians was built by Indians. Nigeria, irrespective of creed, religion, and tribe, must struggle and strive to build Nigeria of our dream that will hand over to our children. Last month I was in Nairobi. I saw something that I never saw. Even the poorest of the poor has in his right or left hand or in his neck the flag of Kenya. Even the poorest of the poor has on himself or herself the flag, either as a bangle or a necklace or an earring. And I asked them, why do you do this? And they told me, we do not have any other country other than Kenya. I submit to say that the quality of life in Nigeria is far better than so many countries in Africa. Yet, we talk down on our country. Yet, we fail to talk well about our country. Yet, we fail to speak well, to pray and to act well for the collective good of our country. By next week or thereabout, about this time next week, I should be preparing to be on my way to Kampala, Uganda, where I'll be doing a few courses. I've stayed there for almost 2 months. I'll be going to University of Makerere. I make bold to say, those people are not better than us, but they speak well about their country, act well about their country, believing that it will be well. You and I today, using your TV, Voice of the People TV, please project the good side of Nigeria. Project the good image and tell the world that there is no place like Nigeria. It is not a fluke for us to have over 230 million persons living in Nigeria as Nigerians. Nigerians all over the world are doing well. But the only thing we hear about us is just a few unscrupulous elements who have taken to crimes. Are they better than the 1,001 Nigerians that are doing well? Why can't you tell Nigerians about the Air Peace, Chief Allen Onyema, and all of that? So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. I have nothing else to say. Please, when we call you again to come on board, please say yes. Please say
I'm
yes.
always available. This is our country, and this is what we can do to move our country forward. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, and happy Independence Day in arrears. That was a Clayton
Absolutely.
Ilugo. He is a public affairs commentator. Ikechukwu, fantastic. Big thanks to everyone who contributed to making the show a success, but the bigger thanks goes to you guys for watching. If you liked it, keep a date again with us, same time, same station. Until then, I am Vivian. Bye for now.